Welcome to One-on-One with Expert Flyer, where we bring you the inside scoop from travel industry experts and innovators. I'm your host, Lisa Caslin, and today we're wrapping up our series on cultural travel, and we've saved the best for last. We're talking about Italy with an expert named Kit Burns from Doorways Limited. Welcome, Kit. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. So I know you've been to Italy somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 times.
Right.
That's quite an accomplishment. So, I don't think anybody would argue that Italy is among the richest in terms of cultural sites and UNESCO sites, heritage sites. So, in your view, having been there so many times, what are some of the features that you find most spectacular?
People ask me that a lot, like which is my favorite area, what's the favorite thing, and the answer has to be where I just was. Wherever you are in Italy is better than the next. And when you just have been to a new place, you think you've seen it all, you go back to a new place and it's new cuisine, new kinds of people with their attitudes. Italy was only united as a country recently. I mean, more recently than some of the other European countries. So the regional differences and the regional geographies and the regional cuisines are quite different. So it's sort of like visiting many different countries, which is one reason why you can go back again and again. I love, for instance, Emilia-Romagna, which is an area people don't know very much about. Ravenna, for instance, is there, and Ravenna is a city that I took my children to wondering if they would like it. It's a little walled city close to the sea, and it's filled with these beautiful Byzantine mosaics. And the beauty of mosaics is that they keep their color. So they're not dark old paintings. They are brilliant gold and blue and bright red. And there are maybe 6 sites in Ravenna. It's one of the 2 areas in Italy with the best mosaics. The other is Palermo, up above Palermo in Monreale, other beautiful mosaics. But there are everything from the great food, the welcoming and the warmth of the people, and then these unbelievable art treasures and geographical features. I mean, also the coastline. It's all around the country, and beautiful mountains, not only in the north, not only the Alps and the Dolomites in the north, but there's a mountain chain, the Apennines run all the way down the spine of Italy, all the way down to near the heel and toe, and then the islands. So there's plenty of coastland, and there's plenty of places to ski, even in the summer. The cities are marvelous. And there are cities that are lesser known. I mean, the first visitors are going to want to go to Italy to see Florence, Rome, and Venice. But when they go back and they visit other places like Mantua and Verona and Piacenza, some of the cities in the Veneto, they'll be stunned. I mean, Mantua is unbelievable. It was the rival of Florence at one time as far as art treasures go. And now nobody has heard of it. Everybody goes to Florence and people don't go to Mantua.
Yeah, it's true. Never heard of it.
It was sacked by the Austrians years ago, and they carried off cartload after cartload after cartload of art treasures. But what they couldn't carry off was frescoes. And the frescoes there are absolutely unbelievable. We actually have some beautiful apartments in a palazzo directly across from the Ducal Palace, which is on the main square of Mantua. And in the apartments are frescoes.
Wow.
But then there's these beautiful frescoes you can see other places. So of course there's beautiful churches, museums, and then Rome itself is a walking museum. I mean, the inside museums are nothing compared to seeing the Colosseum and the Forum and so forth.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, you have named probably more than 50 different things just in the last 3 minutes. And I'm sure there's way, way more. If somebody wanted, a real beautiful cultural experience, seeing art, some of the things that you mentioned, it's not really on too many people's radars. So how do you recommend people go about that trip? Do they hire, a specified tour guide to do this? How do you get to those places?
There is a consortium of companies called the Italian Promotion Council,
Okay.
and they have a variety. I've been a member of that organization. I specialize in villa rentals. The concept is you find a central location, stay in an apartment, a cottage, or a villa, and go out from there on day trips. And that works particularly well in Tuscany or in the lakes, which is a manageable area where you can see a tremendous amount each day, and no packing and unpacking. But there are other ways to do it. You can do it you can join a tour group. Perillo Tours, for instance, has wonderful tour groups if you're going to move through the country. Mm-hmm. Some of the owners, I know all the owners of all these companies. There's a company called the International Kitchen for people who love to cook, and they can arrange cooking holidays where you do cooking maybe in the morning, and then maybe you go out, for instance, shopping at the local markets in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then maybe do some cultural things, then come back and cook and eat together in the evening. And there are companies that do customized tours. And these could be inexpensive, or they could be luxury tours where, mm-hmm. where you have a car and driver to take you everywhere. I mean, there's any number of ways you can travel. If you're mainly traveling to Italy to see the cities, you can do everything by rail. And they have a fabulous new rail system in Italy.
Oh, wonderful.
Called the Frecciarossa. Mm-hmm. And it's very short now. You can go from Bologna to Milan in, I think it's 2 hours. Wow, Rome to Florence in an hour and a half. And these are fast trains like the ones they have in France, the TGV, which is pretty well known.
So let me ask you this. The accommodations, the traditional hotel versus villa versus, Airbnb, for example. And I know that you do villa rentals. So taking that as an example, is it more beneficial to take on a villa as opposed to a traditional, hotel room somewhere? What are the pros and cons to that approach?
Villas generally are going to be more private, more independent, cheaper, and much more spacious. So it's a question of how long you're going to stay in each place. The first-time traveler to Italy might want to travel through the country, stopping in different cities on a tour. The second-time traveler to Italy may have fallen in love with an area and would like to go back and spend a week there. If you're going to stay a week in Italy, or if you're going to go with a family or with a group of friends, staying a week in a hotel, eating every meal out is not great. I mean, it's much nicer if you have your kids, for instance, to not have to eat every meal out, to be able to have cereal in the morning at home, and then come home and rest, make a sandwich or something, probably go out for dinner. But for 2 days, it's not worth it to get a villa and stock it, go shopping and stock it. In Italy particularly, it's nice to have a villa because food is so important. And although you'd be eating meals out, you wouldn't want to miss those Italian restaurants. No. You can also have a cook come in and cook for you. Oh. Or you can go shop in the open air markets and bring, some things are practically ready-made. I mean, homemade pasta or, fresh fruits and vegetables and herbs. Italian cooking specializes in fresh things, and so people buy their food every day. So being in the open air market, even in Rome, there's one at the Campo di Fiori each morning. That's how Romans do it, and it's fun to do what they're doing. do as the Romans do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me before we sign off this year. So let's say, someone's contemplating a trip now. Are there any special events or festivals going on that, one might plan their trip around?
Well, the World's Fair is in Milan this year, just outside of Milan, towards Lake Como.
Oh, that's a trip.
Their subject is feeding the planet energy for life. And it's all about food. Each country has their pavilion. And it's apparently a fantastic World's Fair and very appropriate for Italy with its emphasis on food.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. Then in each village and each area has its own festivals. There's one in Lucca in the fall, maybe September 13 or 14. And it's their patron saint, and they put little candles on all the buildings all around the city. And there's, of course, a parade with the saint that they carry through the streets in medieval dress. But the beauty of all the little candles all through the city is a sight to behold.
Oh, I can imagine.
There's other cities that decorate the streets with flowers, making pictures out of flower petals, infiorata. And these you find out at the local travel tourist office, marked by a lowercase I.
Okay.
So when you go to a town, look for that lowercase I, and inside you'll have English spoken. You can pick up maps, but ask about local festivals. There'll be harvest festivals. There'll be wine festivals in the fall. They have horse races in cities. The Palio in Siena is a good example.
Excellent. Well, listen, thank you so much for all your wonderful information, and we'd like to have you back again sometime.
Love to do it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, Kit.
Thank you. Bye.